At some point when you get up in the morning, you want your energy to count for something, your time to count for something. And I think that's where a few years ago I started to ask myself the question, am I spending my time in the right way? My name is Ajeeth Enjeti, and I'm the general manager for the food business in Europe at Trivium Packaging. I lead one of the largest business units within Trivium of more than 2,500 people, all of us fundamentally dedicating our time and lives to making sure that we can make products more sustainable. I really enjoy traveling to meet my customers and also to our manufacturing locations. I think that gives me a chance to interact with a different set of people, learn new things, especially from our customers about new emerging trends in the market. What are they worried about or happy about? Part of my job is to help look around the corners. So not just what's in the direct line of sight, but to understand and project what might be coming our way. And that's very, very helpful when you go and meet your customers. Every business exists to make profits. That's what business schools would like to tell you. But I think if you can make a cocktail which includes profits and doing good, I think that's where the fun starts to begin for many of us. And if you're driven by that ethos, then I think our business is a good place to be in. There's so many crops that are grown across Europe, and we play a key role in conserving that output in terms of produce that gets onto the supermarket shelves. So I believe we play a very important role there. If you look at our overall European business, we have about 40 different manufacturing locations. So for me, the Trivium community is actually an agglomeration of all those micro communities, from Ukraine to Romania, Italy, Germany, the Czech Republic. All these people, while they're existing in their own microcosms, are kind of bound together by a common fabric. And that fabric is in terms of providing the products that our customers demand from us at the right quality, at a fantastic service level. I think that's what Trivium stands for. We have a lot of passionate individuals across the various teams, which makes me feel proud about the colleagues I work with, the products that we serve to the markets, and I think that makes me proud in general. People are a package, and if you're a team leader, you've got to understand that people have emotions, families, pets, parents who might be sick, maybe undergoing a divorce. When they walk into the office, they need to be fully engaged. And people are not human doings, they're human beings. In the end, we are trying to produce sustainable packaging products for our customers. The person should always keep in mind that no matter what they're doing, and sometimes people get a little carried away with, oh, finance does only number crunching, or accounting does this in terms of closing books. In the end, we need to keep the end goal in mind. And I think that's the one thing I would advise people, that don't forget that we are all here to serve our customers with sustainable solutions.